Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It is noon. Today is Wednesday. How are you guys doing? Are those working at home, remotely, those in the office, those caught up in traffic and the rest? Hope everything is moving on smoothly. As usual, I'll be giving just a minute to allow you guys to come in before we start the business of the day. And I can see on my attendees list a couple of familiar names. You guys are welcome once again. Okay, like I said, I will be giving just a minute to allow you guys to come in. I guess I'll just take it up from here, even as people keep joining us. Good afternoon once again and welcome. For those of you guys that are joining us for the first time, my name is Gagba Esehaya, and I'm one of the training coordinators with the Temple Small Business Development Center. The Temple Small Business Development Center helps small business start and grow. We offer free one-on-one consulting and a variety of low to no-cost webinars. We are part of the nationally accredited network of the Small Business Development Centers, which has over 1,000 across the United States. You're here this afternoon for a webinar on SEO Basics. A copy of the PowerPoint and the link to the recording will be sent to all the attendees. Being a webinar, all the attendees have been muted. However, we always encourage you guys to drop your questions on the Q&A or the chat box. Without further ado, please allow me to welcome our wonderful presenters, even as they take over the floor for the presentation. Cassie and Janice, you guys are welcome.
Thanks, Garba. Thanks so much. And welcome to today's webinar on Search Engine Basics, our search engine optimization, also called SEO. So we'll dive into that. But first, I just want to repeat something Garba just mentioned, who we are at Temple. We're one of the many small business development centers, also called SBDCs, that are located throughout the country. We provide free one-on-one consulting, business education programming, workshops and clinics like this one that you're in today, and have many resources that we can share with you. So if you'd like to get connected with us to get some of that one-on-one help or look at some more of our events, please reach out to us from our contact information that's at the back of this PowerPoint slide, which, as Garba mentioned, will be sent to you along with the recording. So our SBDC, the Temple University SBDC, is considered a center of excellence in digital transformation. So what that means is that we have expertise on our staff that can help you with the digital transformation of your business. Some examples of this would include helping you to create a website for your business. We can help with that. We can also do an audit of your website and online presence to provide tips for improving it. We can assist with digital marketing through various platforms, including social media and much more. So if you're interested in any of the things I just mentioned, please feel free to reach out to us for that one-on-one consulting. Like I mentioned, our contact information is at the bottom of this PowerPoint or at the end of this PowerPoint. So feel free to reach out to us for any of those things that I mentioned. We also offer many digital webinars that are related to digital transformation for your business. So in addition to the one that you're in today, SEO Basics, we offer website planning. We offer a monthly social media series going over each social media platform, e-commerce, cybersecurity, third-party platforms that businesses use to sell on, digital marketing, and much more. So you can go to our website to view these upcoming webinars, and I will also have a QR code at the end of this presentation so that you can scan that to look at our upcoming webinars as well. So that's what we offer. Also, just a little bit about me. I know I've met some of you, I've had some of you in previous webinars. But if you have not met me, my name is Cassandra. You can call me Cassie. My background is primarily in consulting and property management. I worked for 5 years in property management, and then I worked in consulting, and now my consulting is specialized to digital marketing and anything with SEO, social media, digital marketing, websites. And so if you have any questions related to that or related to Temple SBDC's programming or training materials, please reach out to me specifically as well. My email is listed at the back of this PowerPoint. All right, so our agenda for the day first is to go over what makes an effective website. What are those key points that you need to have for having an effective website? After that, we'll talk about some of the cost and the time that it might take to implement or make a website. After that, we'll dive into SEO, also called search engine optimization, and how to use it to attract traffic to your website. After that, we will switch into social media and its bonds to SEO. So that's our agenda for the day. If you have questions as we go along, please put them in the chat or the Q&A, as Janice will be monitoring those. Janice is my colleague and she will be monitoring those. So if there's a question, we can answer those during the presentation. And there will also be time at the end of the presentation as well. All right, so first, features of an effective website. What are like 4 main keys that you need to have? Well, first, it needs to be easy to use, right? You want it to be something that is easy for everyone to use. It should be professional, uncluttered. You want to have an uncluttered layout that's easy to interact with. Now, a good way to test this would just be to have some friends, family members, or people to navigate through your website to give you feedback, to show, is this working the way people would expect it to work? And are there any issues that people are facing with that? Another thing that's very important for your website is that it is optimized for mobile phones. People use their phones for everything nowadays. And so it's very important that this is optimized for mobile phones. Now, if you want to know if your website is optimized for mobile phones, well, that is one of the items we actually check in our SEO report. So we can run an SEO audit on your website with Temple SBDC, and we can give that to you after we're done, and you can see if it is optimized for mobile, along with many other checks that we do. If you're interested in that audit, there will be a way to get signed up for that at the end of this PowerPoint. Now, a third thing that you need to make sure is making your website effective is to have a fast load time. If your website is too slow, maybe your images are not optimized, or you have a video that is not optimized and it's causing your website to slow down, well, then it's highly likely that people will leave the website because people are impatient and they don't want to wait for it to load. So that is another check that we do in that SEO audit. So far we have well-designed and easy to use, optimized for mobile phones, needs to load fast. And then lastly, inbound marketing. That's talking about SEO. So that's essentially where you can optimize your website to attract users without paying for ads. So it's optimizing your website so that people can find you. And this is through no ads and no paid advertising, but just getting organic traffic from optimizing your website. And we will talk about that inbound marketing or SEO tactics in a little bit. Now, when you're looking to sell something online, I think that it's important, no matter what you're selling, to have a website. A website is definitely an important part of your business strategy, no matter what you sell. It can help you sell services, products, and even information. Starting with products, websites are a great way for the customer to see it in its various colors, see its different features, without actually being there in person. So simply by having a website with pictures, and better tools to view the products online, including maybe some reviews about the products and descriptions about the products, can really go a long way in customer purchases by having that available online 24/7. Now, in addition to products, you can also sell services online. So if you're a service business, a website gives you the opportunity to paint a picture for your customers of the services that you offer. Using a website, you can place detailed descriptions about your services. You can have videos and images to help describe those services. You can list testimonials from happy customers that you've served in the past. And then also for service businesses, having a website gives you the ability to list all this information readily available to view anytime they want. They don't always have to pick up the phone to call you to maybe reserve a service. They can book that online on a 24-hour basis. So websites are also great for service businesses. Lastly, you can use websites to sell information. Maybe your business collects information that's very pertinent to people, and having a website helps you to reach those searching for that information and sell it as well. So no matter what you're selling, having a website is definitely pertinent and important in today's marketplace. Now, let's talk a little bit about the cost and time to implement or to make a website. Here's some updated prices on a few popular websites. Now, there are more out there other than just Wix, Shopify, and WordPress, but this gives you an idea. Some other popular ones might be Squarespace, Weebly, and again, there are many out there. This helps to give an idea. Now, as far as the time component that it takes to set up a website with one of these platforms, it's definitely doable to do, within a day. Maybe you want to spread that out over time, and it has a lot more to it, and so it takes a week. But this is definitely something that you can do yourself if you want to. You can always hire someone to do it, but you can also do it yourself. Most of these will help walk you through how to set up a website. So, for example, Wix and Shopify are pretty easy to set up on your own. They help walk you through this process. Now, WordPress is a little more complicated. That one, you do want to have someone knowledgeable in WordPress, or maybe a little knowledgeable with coding, because that one in particular can be a little more complicated. But most of the others you can set up because they do have step-by-step guides to setting this up. Now, one thing I want to do is in the chat, for those of you that have a website, would you please maybe just type the platform that you're currently using? The reason I like to do this is just to get an idea of the various platforms that are being used by small businesses. This helps other small business owners maybe on this call to kind of see what others are using. So if you could just write in the chat the platform that you're using, and you could even write, the business next to it to give them an idea. Maybe someone's has a restaurant business and they find that Wix works really well. Or maybe someone is selling some retail goods online and they're using Shopify because they really like the easy e-commerce that comes with Shopify. So feel free to glance in the chat and see what others are using. But also something that can be helpful is to talk with others in your industry. If you know another small business owner that's in an industry that you're in, ask them what they use for their website. And if they've liked it, search online to ask for that as well. And that can help to give you an idea of which platform to choose. Also, if you would like to talk more in depth about which platform might be good for your business, we are also happy to talk about that with you in more depth and which options might work best for you and your particular business. And just looking at the chat, I see that there is definitely a wide variety and even some are using third-party platforms like Etsy, that's also another good option. Thanks for doing that. So now we're going to dig into search engine optimization, also called SEO. So first, what is search engine optimization, or SEO? SEO is about helping search engines like Google, Yahoo, and Bing understand the content on your website and present this content to people searching for things on the internet. In other words, SEO is about optimizing your website so that it can better communicate with search engines and tell search engines what is on your website, what you do, what you sell, so that they can more easily put your website in front of people searching for those things on search engines. Now, as I mentioned earlier, search engine optimization is considered an inbound marketing technique, which again means that you are not paying for this traffic to come to your site through advertisements. You're increasing traffic to your site simply by using good quality content on your site and strong keywords on your website. This can help to make your site list higher in search engine results pages. A search engine results page looks like this. Now, if you notice here, these first three have ad written next to them. Those are paid inorganic search results. Now, I don't know about you all, but I usually scroll past those and click on the site that has no ad written next to it. And as it states here, organic search results are those that don't have ad written next to them, typically are viewed as more credible and actually receive more clicks on them than those that have ad written next to them. Now, the downside of this is that sometimes the organic search results and using SEO tactics, but not paid advertising, takes a little longer to get higher in search engine results pages. But it's still very important to focus on your SEO. And as showed here, you can actually receive more clicks if you get higher up in a search engine results page without ad written next to it. Now, to better understand search engine optimization, or SEO, and how to improve it for your website, it first helps to know how a search engine works. So examples of search engines are Yahoo, Bing, and Google. Google is the largest and most used one. A search engine results page is what we just talked about. That's this here. This is also called a SERP for short. So search engine results page is also called a SERP. So that's essentially the page that shows the list of websites as a result from what you typed in the Google search bar. Now, for Google to be able to do that, search engine bots scan or crawl through websites and pages on the internet. This is a process called crawling. And then they save these websites that they have crawled through to their database, or essentially their library. Now, this action of saving a website to a search engine database or library is called indexing. So essentially what happens behind the scenes when you create a new website is that these search engine bots crawl through your website and its pages and save or index your website so that later it can be pulled to go on a search engine results page or a SERP. The ultimate goal is to get a higher ranking in search engine results page for certain keywords or phrases that people type into search engines. So that's how a search engine works. Now, why is this important? Why is SEO important? Well, if you think about it, when was the last time you had a question or you were searching for something? Where did you go? You probably typed it into Google or maybe YouTube, but you probably typed it into a search engine. And that's usually the first place that people go when they're searching for any sort of information or products or services. Also, SEO is important because it helps you to get higher in those search engine results pages when people are searching for those questions. As you can see here, the top 5 positions on a search engine results page can help to increase traffic on a site, and this can help generate 20 times more traffic than paid advertising. So therefore, that organic search traffic and optimizing your site without paid ads is important. Paid ads are not bad, but it's important before you do paid ads to optimize it for organic search results. So now that we know what SEO is and how a search engine works, let's talk about a few ways that you can optimize your website. So what are a few ways you can increase your SEO score? One way that you can optimize your site is by writing quality content. So making sure that you keep up with trends in your industry so as to write content that caters to what your customers are searching for online is important. For example, if you're maybe a furniture store and you are keeping up with current trends in your industry, you would notice that a lot of people are working from home and maybe they're searching online for office desks and office furniture for home. So therefore, looking at that trend, it would be in your best interest to beef up that part of the content on your website. You would want to write content essentially that connects what you sell with what people are searching for online. So you might want to write about office furniture or office desks or add more of that to your website. Another important factor in SEO is backlinks. So something called backlinks. Backlinks are essentially connections on the internet to your website from other places on the internet. A backlink is when a website lists a link to your website on theirs. So take, for example, a popular restaurant in Philly. Say the local news writes an article about the best dog-friendly restaurants in Philly, and they listed your restaurant as one and put a link to your website in the article. This is an example of a backlink. It is a link on the internet that drives traffic to your website. Other examples of backlinks could be when you list a link to your website on your business social media accounts. That helps drive traffic to your website. Or maybe your suppliers list your website on link to your website on theirs. Or maybe your local chamber of commerce lists your business as a local business and puts a link to your website. Those are all examples of backlinks. Now, essentially, as you increase the amount of backlinks or connections on the internet, that essentially helps to raise the authority of your site and having those many connections. So that is a reason why this can help to raise your SEO score. Now, one more strategy for improving SEO is to include quality keywords on your website. You want to use words or phrases that are searched for a lot on search engines, but are also specific to your business. For example, if you're a bakery, some popular search terms that you might be found for are wedding cakes, custom birthday cakes, cookie platters, holiday pies. Make sure to use keywords like this on your site because they could help people to find you online if you use these keywords on your site. Now, there's also some specific places you can put these keywords to help search engines know these keywords are what your website is all about and can help search engines show your website to people searching for these specific words. Some areas are title tags and meta descriptions, alt tags with your images are another, headings on your website are another. Now, if you would like to learn more about these specific places and where to put keywords, an SEO audit that we do at Temple can really help to learn more about this. We can review your website and then show you these specific places on where to put these keywords. Again, at the end of this presentation, you will see in the PowerPoint an area where you can sign up for that. You can contact us to get in touch on that. So these are a few ways that you can optimize your SEO and increase your SEO score. Now, here are some common myths associated with SEO. One myth is that keyword density helps to improve page ranking. Sometimes people will put the same keyword over and over. Now, if you write a paragraph that is the same keyword over and over, Google is going to notice that you are just stuffing keywords and you are not writing a legible paragraph. That would essentially count against you. So you do want to make sure when you are putting keywords into your website that you're writing it in a normal fashion as though someone were reading it and not just stuffing keywords. Now, another common myth is social signals are a ranking factor. A social signal example would be if someone likes a post on Facebook or follows you on Facebook. Although that's great, that's not going to increase your SEO score directly. Another myth is that links don't matter. Well, as we just mentioned, links do matter. It's a good idea to have connections on the internet where you have your link to your website and other locations on the internet to help drive traffic to your site. Another myth is that content doesn't matter. Content does matter. Writing quality content, keeping up with trends in your industry, and then writing specifically to those trends can help with your SEO. SEO is a one-time activity. Just like any other business goal or objective, you need to revisit SEO every now and then. That doesn't mean you have to revisit it every day, but SEO is something that changes over time as trends in your industry change over time. Maybe you need to change the keywords that you use. And so SEO is not a one-time activity. Only the number one position matters in Google. That is not true. Definitely others do matter, but getting on that first page, it can be very helpful. Next, you can buy backlinks. You can buy backlinks, however, they're not going to be as useful to you. And so whenever you do try to increase the number of backlinks on your site, buying them typically will not be as helpful for you. So don't buy backlinks. That's not a good SEO tactic. And then lastly, Google Ads will help to increase rankings. Actually, as we spoke before, if you are organically found online without ad written next to you, those receive more clicks than those with ads. So here is the SEO report. I want to pause for some questions if anyone has questions. This is that SEO audit that I mentioned. We go overview of your website and go over the different test results showing the design of your website, how it's designed, if it's accessible to users that maybe have disabilities. We look at browser compatibility, and then we go over some specific SEO tactics that can help with your website's SEO score. If you'd like to sign up for this, there is a link here that is hyperlinked, and you will get that in the PowerPoint that you can sign up for it. Now, before I move forward, I'm just going to post this resource here in case anyone's interested in learning all about Google's algorithm. Feel free to click on that. But if we have any questions before we move to social media, I'll take any questions.
Cassie, I'm not seeing any questions. A couple of folks would like an audit, so I'm recording that. Okay, we do have a couple of questions. The first one is, does having a Google business profile help your SEO?
Yes, it does. Good question. It can definitely help your SEO, especially if you're a local business and you have a Google business profile. This can help, say, if you have, say I live in Pittsburgh and I'm searching for ice cream shops near me. Well, if the ice cream shop down the road has a Google business profile that's listed in Pittsburgh, when I type in ice cream shops and my computer has an IP address in Pittsburgh, then that shop will likely come up in search engines. And so, yes, it definitely does help.
And let's see, we have another comment here. Is the audit the same as the email we received yesterday to have a phone session regarding SEO? Jessica, if you registered through Temple's e-commerce link to have an SEO done, then yes, our consultant calls and wants to schedule a meeting with you just to understand your business needs. If it did not come from Temple University, however, that was not us.
And Jessica, you can also, like I mentioned earlier, use this link here on the SEO report page. You can use that to sign up as well.
And we have from Roz, does having a website link in your email signature help with SEO as a backlink?
It doesn't actually count as a backlink, but it's still a very good practice. And I definitely recommend to have your business website listed in your email signature. That is a very good practice, although it doesn't count as a backlink. All right.
That's all I see.
I think I'll go ahead and move on to social media and switch gears. But again, feel free to, we'll have, questions at the end as well. All right, so why is social media important? Well, a few stats from a Pew Research study show 3.5 billion people use it. Well, that's roughly half the world's population. So if you have a target market, they're probably on there because that is a lot of people. Facebook alone is used by 2/3 of US adults and 75% of them use it on a daily basis. The average person also spends roughly 3 hours per day on social media. And social media offers a very inexpensive way to promote your business as it is free. It helps to engage your customers and improve insight to your company and your brand and your products and services. So these are a few reasons why it's important. Also, it can help with creating brand awareness, brand personality, thought leadership, can increase traffic to your website because you can list a link to your website on it. It can help you to with your reputation management. The analytics and insights that are on social media can also be very helpful for knowing like your target market and who's following you. Can also be helpful for analyzing competitors. You can look at competitors on social media and see the conversations they're having with customers in your same target market. And you can also do targeted ads on social media, which is helpful. So those are just a few reasons why social media can help you in your business. Now, when you're considering what social media platforms that you should go on, it's important to first think, who is your customer? What age are they? What are their demographics? What platforms are they using? For example, Gen Z are going to focus more on the visual platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, or Instagram. Whereas maybe baby boomers focus mainly just on Facebook. So it's important to kind of know your customer first before you go out and get on every social media platform. So again, here's some steps for choosing your channels. First, identify your audience by getting to know who they are. Like I mentioned just a minute ago, are they mainly men? Are they mainly women? What are their demographics? What are their interests? Then you can go about searching for them. So Pinterest, for example, their demographic is mainly women ages 20 to 45, I think. If you say if a lot of your customers fall into that category, maybe you would consider Pinterest. My dad would not fall under that. And if that is my, key demographic, I'm probably not going to get on Pinterest. So it's important to think who your customers are and what they're using, and then go search for them. Also, it's important to consider how active they are on the platform. For example, while maybe young Facebook users like Gen Z are having a Facebook page, they don't really use it very much and they're not very active on it, but they are very active on Instagram. So considering where they're the most active on can help as well. Also considering how they utilize that platform. So for example, with YouTube, does your target customer primarily use YouTube to watch how-to videos for educational purposes? Or do they primarily use it to listen to music videos or watch funny cat videos? So considering how the platform is used by your key demographic can also help determine which platform you choose to be on. And then lastly, consider your goals. You want to think, are you trying to drive sales? Are you really just trying to grow recognition of your brand? Maybe you would choose platforms differently based on your goals. And then lastly, looking at successful competitors and others in your industry and what platforms they choose to be on can be kind of a clue on which ones might be best for you as well. So make sure to look at others in your industry and competitors and see what they're doing when it comes to social media. Now, something to keep in mind when you're posting on social media is that you don't want to just post solid sales ads the whole time. People don't come to social media for reading sales and reading ads. What they come to social media for is a community and to be social and to find interesting and engaging content. So make sure that you follow something called an 80-20 rule, where 80% of the posts that you make are engaging, fun content, videos, eye-catching photos, motivational quotes, sharing a volunteer event with something you helped with. Those are the kind of posts that you want to post 80% of the time. Only 20% of the time should you be advertising. No one wants to just come to social media to read solid ads. Now, an example of someone who did this successfully would be Tom Pemberton. Tom Pemberton's a dairy farmer, and he reached out on social media posting day in the life videos of a dairy farmer, which gained him a lot of traction because everyone fell in love with these videos and how engaging they were and how cute the cows were, and really actually helped to increase his sales simply from posting engaging content that his customers wanted to see. Now, if you're interested in a social media audit, we also do that. So if you have some social media accounts that you want audited and see, how you're doing, we can give some tips there. Also, if you don't have any social media and you just want to have a conversation about what might be some good platforms to be on, or how to set up an Instagram account, or how to set up a Facebook account, we can also help with that. We have videos and webinars that go over how to do that, but also we can have a conversation with you if you're trying to determine, which social media accounts would be best for you. But if you do have social media accounts, this is a great opportunity to sign up for an audit here as well. Now I'll pause here. This is the QR code that shows some of our upcoming training events. And I'll pause here so you can scan that, but also I'll answer any questions. So if anyone has some questions, I'd be happy to answer those. It can be on social media or SEO. Let's see here. Oh, I see one. What are your thoughts on LinkedIn as another platform for your business? I think LinkedIn is really great. It gives you a professional uplift simply by having one. Now, if you make a professional or a business platform for LinkedIn, it's also important that you make a personal LinkedIn as well. You do have to have a personal LinkedIn in order to create a business LinkedIn account. And so you do have to have both. Any other questions so far?
Cassie, if you don't mind, would you also talk about the 3 audits, including the website audit and how they work in tandem?
Yeah, definitely. So we do offer 3 audits, as Janice mentioned, for Temple. One is the SEO audit, which I already mentioned. That looks at, your SEO, your digital presence, and how to be better found on search engines like Google. Then there's the social media audit, which we just mentioned, which will give tips on how to improve your social media and your social media strategy. And then lastly, we have the website audit. The website audit covers some of the items in the SEO audit, but it also does a more well-rounded review of your website, looks at how is it doing aesthetically, what is the ease of use of the website and how to improve it to where it's easier to use. We look at the technology of the website. We look at the analytics on the website and give you some suggestions there. And so it does a more well-rounded review of the website, and not just SEO, but everything. And so those are 3 audits that we offer. If you'd like one or all 3, feel free to reach out and sign up for all of those. Michelle, I saw you said you would like to sign up for all 3. That's great. Feel free to sign up. You can reach out to us using my email at the end, or those links that were posted on the SEO audit slide and the social media audit slide. You can sign up through that hyperlink as well. Mary asked, what do you think is the best way to grab someone's attention? Is it novelty? Is it humor? It depends on your audience, right? You have to think of your audience and think how they would best respond. I think knowing your target market is the first thing. And then thinking of, what do you sell? Maybe if you're selling some, vinyl records and collectibles, maybe it'd be more appropriate to have some sort of a lighthearted humor personality on your social media. Whereas if you're selling like medical devices, maybe humor is not the best way to go. So it's depending on what you're selling, who your audience is. And it is important to think about, what does it sound like when you're when you're posting on social media? What personality does your social media have? L'Oreal asked, are there any resources to help with content creation? Yes, definitely. I think my number one is Canva. I love using Canva, and we're actually, I think, doing a webinar on Canva and platforms like that. And if I'm not mistaken, August 4th. However, please do look at, use this QR code to look at our website for upcoming events. And then please use the link that is provided just recently, this link in the chat, to leave a review for today's presentation. We love to hear feedback. If you have, any feedback, please definitely fill out that survey. It really helps us to help you as business owners and keep providing these free services. So please fill that survey out. You'll have a few, you can just click that link and fill that out. It doesn't take very long. Any more questions? Now I will also switch to our contact info at the end. So my email is at the bottom. There's also our general SBDC email for Temple and our phone number and website. Again, you will get this PowerPoint slide so you can use all this information. And then again, we'll give a couple more minutes to see if you can fill out that survey. Really helps us to know how to improve.
Cassie, while we're waiting for people to complete the survey, I also wanted to mention Digital Connect and our website development services. Through the Pennsylvania Digital Transformation and E-commerce Program, and you'll see the logo right behind Cassie's on her screen there, that is housed with Temple University. So in addition to our wonderful audit reports, social media input, content input on what's great and how we can help you. We also have a group of students who will develop websites for small businesses, as well as make upgrades or changes to your website. So if you have an informational website right now, but you would like to enable a e-commerce website, you want to move to another platform or buy a pro version of, for example, WordPress, if you needed an e-commerce site, also register for our services. We're here willing and able to help you, again, at no cost.
All right. Oh, I see one question. It says, Sarah, I'm on Shopify. I discovered their photo resizing tool after I loaded most of my inventory to my site. Is there a best way to optimize the photos already on my site, or do I have to switch them out one by one? That would definitely be a question I think that our Digital Connect students could help with. And so I would recommend reaching out and using that link to talk with Digital Connect, because I think they can help with that. And then someone said, what is called? What does that mean? What you just mentioned? I'm not sure.
That might be the Digital Connect program.
Oh, Digital Connect program. Yeah, that's probably what it means.
Cassie, could you go back to one of your slides that have the registration information at the bottom? Maybe that will help people.
And then someone also asked if there's help for a platform with Wix. There is. And then, sorry, Janice, which slide did you say?
Go back to one of the earlier slides at the bottom. There you
Oh,
go.
I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm.
So right there under the social media audit, you see highlighted in blue, that's a hyperlink for interest form that you would fill out to register to receive any of our help, whether it's a social media audit, a website audit, or an SEO report, as well as registering for Digital Connect website services. We do have a one question here. What type of support do you provide if someone stops in the campus office? Laurel, we ask that you make an appointment. We are still working remotely. However, if you do want to meet someone in person, we make an appointment. We have a wonderful website and e-commerce expert, Beatrice Ryan, and Beatrice would be happy to meet you at our Center City location or at our main campus.
Let's see, Janice, would you mind putting the link for the PA digital transformation, the PATA Piparillo form? I think people are trying to click on it through the screen. That won't work. You would have to click on it from the PowerPoint, but we could also probably find it and put it in the chat so you can sign up there too. But you will receive this PowerPoint, and the PowerPoint will be able to be clicked on, but on the screen, you won't be able to click on it through the screen. And the PowerPoint slides are typically sent right after this. And there's the link for those who are having trouble clicking on it and finding it. There's the link, but it'll also be in that PowerPoint. You can also find it through our website too. It's PadTech program on the Temple SBDC website. So you should be able to find that. Thanks everyone for the great questions. These were really good questions. Looking forward to meeting with some of you and doing some of the audits on your website. So really looking forward to that. I guess we've kind of hit the end of our presentation. Doesn't look like there's any more questions, but again, feel free to reach out to us with that contact info that's here. I think that's all. So everyone have a good day and have a good rest of your week and stay well.
Thank you, everyone. And just as what my wonderful presenter said, do have a good day and enjoy the rest of the day. Bye-bye.